Hi folks, this is Karim Rauf from IT Visualizer channel. We will continue our lab, the audit lab. This is the video number 89. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. 1 minute guys. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We still continue working with the documentation of the Department of Defense to secure the PAO or the Privilege Access Workstation, which has Windows 10 operating system installed on it. So it was a very good documentation. We have discussed it in 2 parts. Okay, we have discussed a lot of concepts and recommendations to secure the PAO or the Privileged Access Workstation. Some of them we have discussed earlier in the beginning of the series, and some are completely new, which encouraged me to discuss this document with all of you guys. Okay, so we have finished discussing the PAO, how to secure it, how to create it, how to do a lot of things to make it operational and to make it secure. Today we will discuss another topic. You remember guys that I have made a couple of videos in this series actually also to create a Windows 11 master image. We have discussed a lot of things concerning this topic, how we can create a Windows 11 master image, how we can include in this master image a lot of open source and very important programs to be included within this image. This video will talk how we can secure this image using also the Department of Defense recommendations. They have already issued a document to secure Windows 11. I will discuss how we can secure our image using this documentation, but the recommendations are almost like the recommendations of Windows 10. They are the same. So we will not discuss in details the document for securing Windows 11. We will implement it directly to the image through a utility called LGPO. This is a utility or a command prompt utility that we will use to import the ready-made group policies by the Department of Defense that was provided through their website to secure the Windows 11. So we will use the LGPO to import the group policies provided by the Department of Defense for Windows 11. It will be imported through this utility, not through the group policy management console in the Active Directory. So this utility is specially used when you want to import group policies to the local group policy of the machine, or use this utility to import the group policies not through the Active Directory or not through the domain or not through the group policy management console. This is a local utility. Okay, so it's called local group object. Let me show you all what is this utility. It's called LGPO. So we'll use this group policy to import the Windows 11 group policy to secure it, and then we will make a test using the SCAP utility of the Department of Defense to discover if there is any security holes or security issues with our Windows 11 after implementing the Department of Defense group policy. And we will create a report. So this video we will make or we will secure our Windows 11, and we will create reports to see the result of this security, or after we secure it we will have a report or a detailed report about the situation of the Windows 11 security or the status of the security of Windows 11. What is LGPO? LGO Microsoft. So let's see what is this. Okay, let me show you what is LGO. It is Microsoft. LGO utility. Okay, so it is called, not this one actually, I have already downloaded before. It is local group O object Microsoft download. Okay, it's Microsoft local group policy object. Okay, this is it. It's a standalone command line executable that assists administrators in automating the management of a computer's local security policy. So this is a way that you can import the group policies, already made group policies, locally to the machine, not through the domain or not through the Active Directory group management console. So we will use this one. We will download it from the Microsoft website and begin working with it. So this video, we will do a lot of things. We will secure our image, then we will create reports and to tell us what is the status of the security of Windows 11. But before making any, or before importing the group policy of the Department of Defense to Windows 11, we will create reports to see what is the status before applying the recommendations of the Department of Defense. So let's go and see how we can do this. So first of all, we will go and download the LGPO. Okay, so we'll go to the Microsoft website and then download the local group policy object. So here this is not the correct terms to search for this utility. You need to type LGO Microsoft. Okay, so it will get you some recommendations concerning this utility. It is called local group policy object. Okay, so I think I have tried to search in a different way. So local GPO, so I told him local GPO Microsoft download. Okay, so here you can or we will search in another way. Okay, here is the local group policy object. We will download it and then use it later to import the group policy of the Department of Defense. I have before discussed what is the SCAP utility of the Department of Defense and what is the STIG viewer. We all know these two utilities. We have used it before to create reports and to scan for vulnerabilities in different systems and programs based on the recommendations of the Department of Defense. Okay, so now we downloaded this utility and then we will secure our Windows 11, or we will open our machine that we have Windows 11 installed on it and begin working to secure it. So here we will download it's the LGPO or local group policy object. It is a part of the Microsoft security baseline or Microsoft compliance security files. So it is included with this Microsoft security baseline documentations or Microsoft security compliance toolkit. So it is included within the Microsoft security compliance kit. Okay, so we will download it only and then we'll begin working with it on our Windows 11 image. So it will take a little bit of time because it will open my free download manager program to download the file. So here you go, here is the file. Okay, it will be downloaded and then we need to install the SCAP on the Windows 11 machine, install the STIG viewer program on the machine, and to include the Windows 11 benchmark file to make the SCAP run scans on the machine to discover the vulnerabilities. Okay, and we will get also the Windows 11 recommendations to run it on the STIG viewer to see both. Anyway, just wait for a moment and I will show you all how we can secure our Windows 11 through the local group policy using this utility. So these are the commands. One of them, it will be /g. This is the one that we will tell him a path for the group policies to import. So this is the one, and this is a lot of commands. You can import the registry, you can import group policies, so it's a lot of switches to work with. But let's first see how we can secure our Windows 11. So we will stop, and then there is uh, a channel called IT Videos. This contains 3 important videos concerning the SCAP and the STIG. I recommend you all to see it and download it, and we will use one of them, or I have used the videos in this channel to be a reference to the video that I am creating now. And actually you can use the SCAP utility not to scan one local machine for vulnerabilities, but to scan a lot of PCs in your domain. Okay, so or you can scan a remote machine. When I come to this section, I will tell you all. So now I am downloading the tutorials from this channel. You can all download it and see, because this guy has a lot of effort done to discuss the STIG and the SCAP utility. Okay, and actually it's a very detailed one, and it's a very simple one. So now I am downloading these 3 videos. I encourage you all to download it and see it, okay, because it contains a lot of good info. Okay, and the last video I will show you all how to scan multiple hosts, not only one host, by the SCAP utility. So we have discussed in a previous video how we can use the SCAP to scan a host for vulnerabilities, only one host, but this utility can scan for multiple hosts, okay, remote or through the Active Directory. Okay, so I am downloading the videos. Okay, so this is a channel called IT Videos. I encourage you all to see it. Now we have downloaded the videos, we have downloaded the LGPO utility. Now we should open our virtual machine and begin working with it, the one that contains Windows 11. So we have downloaded the videos. Now we can open our VM Workstation Pro and work with the machine that contains Windows 11. Actually, when I try to open the virtual machine that contains Windows 11, some errors appeared with me. It was related to the hard disk, or my hard disk was not good, or it was not in a good status, so the virtual machine was not powering on. Okay, so this was a problem. I have restarted my machine and tried to power off and power on the virtual machine a couple of times until so you can see this error. This error appeared with me because my hard disk on my laptop was not working perfectly. There was a heavy activity on the hard disk of my laptop, so the virtual machine was not able to open. Okay, so I restarted my PC as a whole and tried to open the machine once again until it successfully opened. So I press enter to try again, and then at the end it worked. So I press enter. Okay, at the end it was successfully powered up. Then this is the 2 users we have used before. These are 2 local administrators. So now we will put the password and then begin installing SCAP utility on this machine and SITG viewer on this machine also. And we will try to scan before applying the DOD or the Department of Defense group policy to secure this machine. We will see what is the security status of this machine before applying the recommendations, and after we apply recommendations. We will see both of these. So now I am just copying my set of files concerning the SCAP utility, the STIG viewer utility, the LGPO utility. All of these are included in this folder that is shared between my host and my virtual machine. Okay, so now I am copy all of these files and install them one by one. Okay, so it will take a little bit of time because, as I said before, you can see that the machine is very heavy because my laptop is not my hardware requirements or hardware specs will not be able to run Windows 11 in a complete performance or in best performance. Here we can see that there is a lot of files that I need to copy from my laptop to my, or from my host to my guest. Okay, LGPO utility, some GPOs, utilities, and a lot of things. Okay, we will copy them. These are the utilities STIG and SCAP, and the group policies provided by the Department of Defense, and the recommendations, PDFs or documentations also provided by the Department of Defense. So I will copy them all and use the Windows 11 files to scan and create a report for the security status of the Windows 11. So now we are copying all of these. So I'm not only copying STIG program and SCAP, but I am copying a file that I should run through the SCAP to scan for vulnerabilities for Windows 11, and another file to run it on STIG viewer. These are the recommendations for Windows 11. Okay, so we will see also a little bit of a trick here, that I can use the results, okay, for the SCAP concerning the scanning of the vulnerabilities in Windows 11, and I can use the results in this SCAP utility and import it to the STIG viewer and see how much of the recommendations is already implemented from the scan or from the vulnerability scan. Anyway, now we will run the SCC or SCAP utility setup. Okay, this is not, we will run this file. It will take a little bit of time. Accept the license agreement. Next. And then we'll install all of it. I don't know what is a SCC service, but I will install it. And then install, and then create a shortcut on desktop. Install. Okay. And then finish. Then we need to go and install the STIG viewer. Okay, I have discussed this before in a video, how we can install both. Anyway, so it will take a little bit of time, and then it is installed. Then we'll open the SCAP to scan for vulnerabilities on this system, but we need to tell the SCAP what is the file that he will use as a reference to scan for vulnerabilities on the Windows 11. Here we will create a folder and we will name it SCAP results. So here the results of the SCAP will be saved, so we can use it later in the STIG viewer. Don't worry, I will show you all how we can do this, or it will appear when we implement it. So this is the SCAP compliance checker. We will open it, and then we will run a scan, and the scan results should be directed to the SCAP results folder, the one that we have created earlier. So now here we can see that there is a lot of things here, or a lot of files that he will use as a reference to scan for vulnerabilities. The Windows 11 is not included, so we will tell him to install. I have already downloaded the Windows 11 file that this program will use as a reference to scan for vulnerabilities. I will tell him install. I have already put it on the D partition. So I'll tell him install, and then select content, and then I will go to the D partition. Okay, we'll go to the D partition, and then we will install, okay, something called, let me show you all here, something called Windows 11. Okay, we can just open it, draft STIG. Okay, this is a folder, just a moment, again. So this is a file, a zip file I have downloaded from the Department of Defense. Okay, tell him open. This is called Windows 11 draft STIG SCAP benchmark. So this is a file you can download from the Department of Defense website. Tell him to install. This file will contain the steps, or will show the SCAP the steps to scan for the vulnerabilities in Windows 11. So we will do this and tell him install, and then we will see what are the results of the scan. First, you need to change the output or the folder that this results will be saved to. Okay, because it will not be saved to the D partition, it will be saved to the C partition by default. So we need to change the location of the saved files of the results of the SCAP utility. Anyway, so now we can see that Windows 11 is included. Okay, so we can check on it. We will uncheck all and check on this one to check for vulnerabilities on Windows 11, and we will see the results. Okay, and then we tell him scan. It will take a little bit of time because it will take a lot of time to scan a lot of things actually. So it will start scan, and then here we can see view results. Okay, so the results will be saved to the C partition, the folder of the user, SCC sessions. Okay, we need to change this location to D SCAP results for the folder we have created a couple of seconds ago. But let's see what are the results of the scan. First of all, we can change the location of the results of the scan to another location. Here you can see that I told him to open the folder for the results. Okay, here is the folder that the results are saved to. We need to change it from C users, the user profile folder, SCC sessions, to the D partition. Okay, so this is something we need to take notice. Here are the results. Okay, these are the results, and we will use it to see what are the things, or what are the results of the scan. Okay, so now we need to change options and then show options. Then we need to change the location. Here we go to the output options. Okay, here. Okay, not reporting option, output option, and tell him to save results to custom directory. Okay, here you will save it to the user's home directory, or a user's Windows home directory, or user's profile home directory. Okay, so we need to change it to save it to a custom location. So we'll save it. First of all, I need to go and tell him to save it to the D partition, to the folder that I have created earlier. So we'll go there and open the D, and then we'll open SCAP results. Here we need to save the results to D SCAP results. So we'll go copy and then tell him to save the results to this folder, and then we will see what are the results. So we'll open the SCAP and then tell him to show options and then change it to output. Okay, and then save results, and then we will change it completely. Okay, and tell him save, and then we will run the scan again. Okay, we will run the scan again. Save, and then tell him to start the scan. Then we tell him to view the results. Here we can see that it is changed to this SCAP. Here is the results changed. Okay, we'll right click and tell him to open summary viewer in OS, or open the summary, or open the results in the default web browser. He will open it in the Edge browser, and let's see how much from the recommendations of the Department of Defense we have. We have score about 35%. So 35% of the recommendations of the Department of Defense is implemented on the machine, but this is put you in the red zone. You need to pass. If you need to pass these recommendations, you need to be in the blue if you have 100% of the recommendations implemented, or at least the green. Okay, 90%. Yellow, so these are all, and red is the least one of them. Okay, so I think to be in a safe side, you need to be in the green zone. Okay, not the yellow or red or blue, because blue you will have 100% if you have it, but actually here when I installed the recommendations, or applied the recommendations of the Department of Defense, I was in the green zone. We'll show you all this. So we have how much recommendation we have passed. 47 recommendations. We have failed in 87 recommendation. We have applicable, not applicable for. Okay, recommendations that are not applicable to our system. Okay, so we'll go further. So now this is the results. We can take it and import it in the STIG viewer, so we can see in the STIG viewer the recommendations that are implemented and the recommendations that are not implemented, and we'll make a checklist from it. So let's see how we can do this. We will need to import these results to the STIG viewer, okay, to be reflected in the checklist. If you need to make a checklist, remember that I have told you all how we can make a checklist with the recommendations that are applied and not applied through the STIG. Let me show you all this. So this is the recommendations, or this is the scan recommendations, or this is the scan results actually, sorry. So now we will close the program, and then we will open the STIG viewer. So now we have it. We can close the program and then open the STIG viewer and import these results in the STIG viewer. So now we need first to open the STIG viewer and tell him to open the recommendations for Windows 11 STIG viewer. And then we need to open the recommendations for the Department of Defense of Windows 11 through this program and make a checklist from them, and then import to the checklist the results from the SCAP. Let me show you this one step by step. Import STIG. So I have already downloaded also the recommendations for the Department of Defense for the STI for the Windows 11. These are the recommendations PDF, not the SCAP file. Okay, so this is not the SCAP file. Okay, this is something called recommendations. Okay, I will show you all. So I will not use this file. I have already used it in the SCAP. This is not the file that we use in the STIG viewer. This is a different file. So I have already downloaded it on my laptop. I will put it here, and also you can download this file from the Department of Defense website, and I will try to include all of these files in a Google Drive link in the description of the video, so you're not all trouble yourself for downloading it. Okay, so this is my VMware host, or this is my laptop, or the shared folder between my virtual machine and my laptop. So now we will get the file. Okay, where is the file? It's called Windows 11. Go further. Okay, it's called Windows 11 v1 r1 STIG. This is the file. So there is two files, one imported in SCAP and the other is imported in STIG viewer, and they are two different files. Okay, they are not the same. Okay, one file to scan for vulnerabilities and the other one to give you the recommendations written. Okay, so this is not the benchmark it. Okay, we will have a normal file, not a benchmark file. This is the one. Okay, this is the one. So we'll copy it. You can download it also from the Department of Defense website. So I will copy it. Okay, and then we will go to the departition and put it, and then import it to the STIG viewer program. Okay, and create a list from it, and through the SCAP results we will see how much of the checklist is already implemented, and it will be appeared in colors. We will see that in a moment. So we'll import the checklist. Okay, we will go there, and then this is the departition, and then here is the recommendations. Tell him open, and then here we will click on it. Okay, so now and then after that we will make a checklist from it. Okay, be with me. Checklist from the marked file, or the marked STIG, and then we will tell him to get host of data. This will be included in the report, the STIG, and it is a workstation. Okay, and then we will import to this checklist the results done in the SCAP. Okay, so we'll tell him import, not this one. First we will save the checklist, so we later can return to it. So we'll save it and give it a name. Okay, Windows 11 result, and then we will import the results from the SCAP xccdf results file. This is the one that we will import from the SCAP. And where is this file? It is in the D partition, and then SCAP results, sessions, this is the session, results, and then SCAP, and then we have XML in the last file, which called xccdf results. So we will use this file, okay, and tell him open. This is the file, and tell him open. And then let's see here the result. You will see that the checklist is already marked, so the red ones means that they are opened. Sorry, I think the red means not applicable. Open, okay, so O, it is referring to open. Green means it is not available or it is implemented. NR means it's not reviewed. So here we can see that the results are reflected in the checklist, so you don't need to put the status or mark the status for every recommendation. It's already done automatically through the SCAP results. Here we can see that he's saying that these are all not implemented recommendations, and the green ones are the implemented ones. So these are red, okay, and these are not implemented, or it's opened. And as for the gray one, this means it is not reviewed, okay, not reviewed. Okay, so let's see, these are the results of the SCAP and the STIG viewer. Let's see, after implementing the group policy to secure the Windows 11, okay, how will be the results, if they will be changed or will be the same. So now we need to go and open the LGPO utility and use it to import the group policy, or the ready-made group policy by the Department of Defense to secure the Windows 11. Okay, so I think we can pass this real quickly. Okay, so we can pass this also real quickly. Anyway, so now what I have done, now we will tell him to export the results. These results are exported to a CSV file, export to a CSV file, and then you can use it to tell your boss these are the results of the scan. Okay, this is before applying the recommendations, so we will have files before the recommendations and after applying the recommendations. So now we will save it to the D partition. Okay, here we go, save it to the D partition, and now it's already saved. Now we will close it, and then we need to go to the folder that contains the LGPO or LGPO utilities. We will save the checklist, and now we will close it, and then we will go to the utility, okay, or LGPO utility, okay, open the D, okay, and then open the LGPO. This is the file, and this is two PDFs how to use it. Okay, we will copy the location, and then through the CMD we need to point to this location. So here we see, tell him CD or change directory to go to this location. And before that I will take a snapshot, because this will change the group policy of the machine, and I don't know if this will make some negative effects on the machine or not. So before importing, we have already take a snapshot or a backup of the machine, and then we need to apply. But before that, take care guys, just wait for a moment. We need first to go to the D LGPO folder, LGPO 30. So now we are on C partition, folder users care of. We need to go from the C to this partition and then begin working with the LGPO. If you don't change the location or the directory, the LGPO will not work. So how we can import the group policy? This is very simple. We will type lgpo.exe/g, and then we will put the location of the group policy we need to import. So tell him lgpo.exe/g, and then space, and then double commas, okay, and then tell him the location of the group policy. I have already downloaded the group policy from the Department of Defense website. This is all of the GPOs. Okay, we will open, and then we will go to the Windows 11, and then this is the GPOs. We have two GPOs, one for computers and one for users. Okay, this is the location. We will copy it like this, and then put it in the double quotas. So we'll go there and double click on it and then close the quota and press enter. Here we will get an error. Why? Because this file lgpo.exe, it's not in the C partition, it's in LGPO LGPO folder. So we need to run the program that it is included in the folder, and this program is not in the C partition. You need to point to the location of the file. This file, it is the utility that you will use to import the group policy. So you need to direct it, or you need to tell the Windows or the command prompt to point to this location or to change directory to this location. So what we will do, we need to tell him, just a moment, tell him D. So what you will do, we need first to tell him D double quotas, and now here we can see that you are already changed it to the location. Then we will try again we will try the command, okay, LGPO, and then press enter, and let's see what will happen. Here it will not give us an error because this file, it's in this folder. Now he will begin applying the group policy. Okay, this is one group policy and there is another one. Okay, so we'll stop, and then here it is finished, or it's beginning implementing it. Okay, local group policy object utility. So now we have already implemented the computer's group policy. Now we need to apply the user's group policy. Okay, so now we will go and get the other group policy. Okay, so we'll go there and get the second group policy. So we'll open the folder, and then after applying the group policy, we will run again a SCAP utility, or run a SCAP utility to scan for vulnerabilities again on Windows 11 and see what will be our score. So now we are applying the second group policy and press enter. Okay, so this is a way to apply group policies locally, not through the Active Directory. This is a good way when you have a work group and you need to apply certain group policies to all of your machines. This is a way to use this utility to apply the group policy, okay, in an automatic way, of course. Okay, so now we have already implemented most of the group policies. Then we will exit, and then we will run again the SCAP utility to run a scan or a vulnerability scan, and we will see our score. Okay, so we'll open the SCAP. Okay, SCAP checker. We will go further. Now, again, so we'll open the SCAP, and then we will run again start a scan. Okay, and then we'll see the results. Do not put for the errors here. Okay, it will scan, and we will see preparing to scan. So it is scanning, and then we will see what will be our score. So after finishing it, we'll tell him to view the results, and then we'll view the results in so we have two results. We will have the newer one, which is 16.3005. We will view this one. So let's go further. We will right click and tell him to view it in a browser. So we'll tell him to view it in the browser again. So again, what will happen here? So when we view in the browser, he will see that we have our score for 94%. So we are green. So here from 37 or 35% to 94%. So we have a lot of recommendations applied, and we have only a couple of recommendations that are not applied. We can tweak them manually, or we can do them manually. The red ones, okay, the secondary login service must be disabled. So there is a couple of things we can, or we need also to work with the remaining of the recommendations that are not implemented. We need to implement them manually. So now we will go, the STIG viewer need to reflect these results in the checklist. Okay, so we will go and tell him to open a checklist. Okay, tell him to open the checklist. Okay, checklist, and then open from file. We have it already. Okay, and then tell him open. So we go tell him open the checklist from the D, what you win 11 results. So here let's go further. So here are the results that we have done already. We need to implement, or we need to export the new SCAP results to be reflected in the checklist. So let's see how we can do this. So now we need to go and let's wait for a moment, get back a little bit again. So here what we will do, we will go and tell him to import, just wait for a moment. We'll tell him to again get further, again. So now we will tell him to import the new SCAP results. We will go from import, okay, and tell him import the results, the new results for the SCAP, the one that contains our 94%. 94%. We will go to tell him to import the new results, okay, SCAP XML, and then from the location these SCAP results, this is the new one, and tell him open, and then we will see the results. Here they will be changed. Here we see that we have all greens, we have only small recommendations, or about we have 7 open, okay, it was 87 before, and we have 127 applied, and we have a couple of gray ones that are not reviewed. So we need to check them and check the opened issues, okay. Then we save the checklist, and then you can export the results. So you have 2 results, before and after, and scan results before and after. So you have all of the data you need to give it to your boss, or your IT boss, or IT manager. And now we have secured our Windows 11 image. So now you can save this image, okay, and apply it to your domain, or apply to your network. But take care that this group policies applied, some of them are related to the domain, so we need to take care, okay. So now we have all of it. So we have all of these recommendations apply in a very simple way. So we will close it, okay, and then I think we will shut down the machine. So that's it. I think we will tell him to, first of all I need to show you how the recommendations are reflected to the machine. If we tell him to sign out, remember that we didn't have a welcome message before, okay. This was applied using the group policy. Here if you open or logged off, now you will see that it's not applied before. This is the welcome message or interactive message. It was applied from the group policy. US Department of Defense warning status. You can change it actually, but this means that our group policy is applied, okay. Our group policy is applied. This is one thing that says that we have already imported the group policy successfully. And another thing you need to take care, when I tell him okay, just see this one, because it's also one of the things that the group policy was or this is one of the changes made by the group policy, okay, this welcome message. And then take care that you will see only Kira of 2. This is the second local administrator. The first local administrator was disabled. By the way, it was disabled and it was removed. There is a recommendation, or there is something in the group policy not to display users logged in on this machine, okay. So you should not see any logged users on this machine. And by the way, also I think this is not correct. He should not give you the name. He should give you a username and password. You need to apply it. But one of the things, it have disabled Kira of 1 and remove it from the list of users. And this also was one of the recommendations of the Department of Defense applied through the group policy. So now we can take an image of this machine and apply it to our PCs, okay. So if we go further, now we have all of things applied. And again, another thing I need to take into consideration, how you can scan for this is from the IT video channel. Here we can see that you can choose the type of scan, Windows multiple host remote scan. So you can tell him local. Let's see first what are the options. Here we will see that you have a lot of options actually. One of them is local host, one of them is remote host, okay, and one of them are multiple remote host, okay. So let's go further. I need to show you not this one, but we will go further. don't put or don't look at this one, but I will show you all. If you go further, here is the domain controller. You will install the SCAP utility, and through the SCAP utility you can tell him to scan for multiple hosts. So you need to install the SCAP utility on the domain controller, and then open the SCAP and tell him to SCAP for remote, or scan for remote hosts. So now we are installing the SCAP on the domain controller, and then here is the domain controller, and then we tell him, we can see here, just a moment, you can see that you have a lot of options. So you install the SCAP on the domain controller and then run it. You can see there is local scan, there is Windows single remote scan, so you can scan for one remote PC. You can multiple scan for remote PCs, okay, multiple scans. And then there is Cisco and a lot of things actually, I think, related to the Cisco products, okay. So here I will tell him to multiple or Windows multiple host scan. If you tell him this, now he will give you, or he will connect to the Active Directory and tell him to select a location in the Active Directory to scan, an OU maybe, or the complete domain. So you can choose, tell him scan and then select OU. So you can choose an OU with a couple of computers in it, okay. So when you tell him select, okay, or entire domain, or select OUs, so you can tell him to scan the entire domain, all the PCs in the domain, or select the OU that contains a couple of PCs. Here you will give you the OU structure, and you can choose where the PCs reside that you need to scan. So I hope this is informative for you all, and thank you all for viewing. And the upcoming video will begin discussing very important concepts to secure our network more further. Thank you so much.